Hey guys, it's Holly the Twister Sister, and today we've got a really fun review for you. I'm going to be showing you two different kinds of floor pumps and showing you the pros and cons of each and which one I like the best, so stay tuned. Alright, so last time you saw me do a pump review, I did a review on the Magic Flate system, which I really enjoyed and used for a long time. But honestly, I have to say, since I got one of these floor pumps, I haven't really been using my Magic Flate anymore because I love this so much. So I'll just go ahead and tell you, the one I like the best is this one, even though it doesn't look quite as cool. This is called the Aircraft Pump, and this is actually the travel version that the top part of this can actually come off, so it'll fit better into a suitcase. Just take this whole top part off. But I really have never traveled with this guy, so I don't use that too much. And I would recommend, if you don't plan on putting this in a suitcase, to not order the travel version, just because this whole bit where it can come apart is actually a little bit of a weak spot, and I have had it come off and break during events and had to glue back together. But I'll explain more about that later. This is the winner though for my book. This is one I've been using at all of my events. And I'll just go ahead and show you. This is a Filbert pump, and the cost difference is significantly less. This one is about $100, so it's pretty affordable for most twisters, where the Aircraft is about $175 if you buy it on the Aircraft website. And I, of course, will put links to all this stuff in the description below, so you can go and check them out and maybe purchase your own floor pump. But I have to say, either way, I love having a floor pump. Cons or pros of both of these is that they never run out of air, they're quiet, and they blow the balloons up super fast, and it really saves your arms a lot, as opposed to using a hand pump all day, which can really get tiring and kind of wear out your joints a little bit, and sometimes I've actually even been sore after long events for using a hand pump all day. So these guys, I definitely highly recommend getting either one, but I'm just gonna talk about the pros and cons of each real quick, and you can decide which one you might want to add to your balloon twisting supplies. So let's talk about the Aircraft pump first, since this one is my overall favorite. Now, if I could just kind of take both pumps and merge them together and make one super perfect pump, I would love that, but it's not out there yet right now. So, so when you get the Aircraft pump, it'll come pretty much like this. It comes with a strap, which is nice for carrying, and you can either put the strap around the neck of it, which I don't really like because it tends to pull up like this. And it just seems like it's not good to be walking around with it fully extended like that. So I put the strap here on this little weird loop. It's kind of an awkward loop because it's not fully enclosed, and so the strap does come on and off really easily. And you can hook other stuff to this while you're twisting. It's kind of nice. You can flip it around and put a bag of balloons on here to hang on there. But I use, I've got a huge setup, a bag full of balloons, so I don't use it for that. So it's just kind of become my strap holder. So there's that. Pros of this one, other pros, I love the handle. I love the way it faces out and not straight up in your face. So when you're blowing a balloon, it goes out away from you. And it's also nice because you can tell the kid standing like right in front of you to take a few big steps backwards. And then when you start blowing the balloon, they see exactly why they need to stand back a little bit, because the balloons come straight out towards them. And it's really fun. They let like, whoa, it kind of, they really like that. I like the nozzle on this pump much better than the Filbert, because the way it kind of slowly slopes into becoming wider and wider, you can blow all different size balloons up on this pretty easily without having a bunch of air leakage while you're pumping. So I can do 160s on this just as easily as I can do 350s and 646s as well. So you can do all sizes of twisting balloons, hearts, rounds, everything you need on this guy. Let's see, other pros I like about this. It's actually got quite a bit of weight to it. It's much heavier than the Filbert, which some people might think is a bad thing, but I prefer it because I don't have to stand on the base of this to hold it down while I'm pumping. So to explain that, when you go to pull this up, it's weighted down enough that the whole pump doesn't come up when I pull it up. So I'll go ahead and show you. With the Filbert, if I don't keep my foot on the base of the Filbert, the whole thing kind of comes up off the floor as I'm pulling this up. Whereas the aircraft pump is heavy enough to where it's not going to come up off the floor. It also makes it a little bit less prone to tipping over or falling over if you're not keeping your foot on it, because it's got a nice sturdy base on it. The base is just made out of wood. So there's that. Okay, so now to be fair, I've got to go over some of the things I don't like about this pump. So the same thing that I love about this pump, the weight, is another thing that makes it kind of a con, is that it is heavy to carry around. So if carrying around some extra weight is an issue for you, definitely want to check out the Filbert, because this thing, I mean, I can toss it around. It weighs like 2 pounds. It's super light, and just the way that they got it to be this light is ingenious. So if you're looking for something that's lightweight to carry around to your gigs, Filbert would be the way to go. So the heaviness is kind of a drawback for some people. I don't mind it personally. The appearance of this one, it does look homemade, and most of the events I do, I always get some guy coming up like, oh, cool pump, did you make that yourself? You know, it looks homemade, but it doesn't look quite as professional as the Filbert. So that is a drawback. Some people do cover this. You can spray paint it or cover it with the kind of designer duct tapes that they have out now. So there are ways to jazz it up a little bit. But this is, I haven't done anything to mine. This is what it looks like when it comes to you. So the white tends to get a little bit dirty at parties, just little sticky fingers, and the top of my handle has kind of turned kind of a greenish color just from all the powder and latex getting on my hands and then getting on the pump. So that's that. Let's see, any other cons about this one? I don't think so. I love it. Actually, there's one thing. So with the travel pump, this whole piece comes off. It just twists off, and I actually don't want to twist it off to show you, because I've had to glue that together a few times, because there's pieces inside of the PVC with like the part that screws together in there, and that's actually come out. And so if you don't have super glue with you at an event and that happens, you're out your pump. So it's always good, no matter what pump you're using, to have a backup hand pump with you just in case. But I have had to glue back together a few times. So if you don't need to travel with this, I would recommend just getting a regular version where this part doesn't come apart. And then you won't have to worry about that. Now let's talk about the Filbert. So some of the pros of the Filbert, you can customize every piece of this as far as colors go. So if you go to the Filbert website, you can pick what color you want for this part, this part, this part, this part, this part, like everything is, you can pick all the colors, and they've got a bunch of colors for you to choose from. So you can make this really match your branding and go with kind of your whole setup. And I like pink and black, so that's what I chose, but you can pick any colors you want, which is a great thing. I love the little loops that are all over the top and the bottom of this. I've seen some people do some crazy cool things using these loops to attach all kinds of stuff to. They built like a whole cart around their Filbert pump, which would take care of the weight issue of it being too light and having to keep your foot on it the whole time. So there's these holes allow you to do all sorts of fun things with the pump. And of course, you know, you add a strap for carrying and whatever else you want to do. It also blows up a 260 completely with just one pump, and it's nice and quiet. So same as the aircraft, it's nice there. The weight, again, I mean, I just can't get over how light this thing is. I can throw it around, and it's awesome. So some of the things I don't like about this pump are that it's a little bit too light, and so if I'm in like a grassy place, if I don't keep my foot on the base there, it's gonna tip over a bunch, and it's just, you know, gonna fall over because it just isn't weighted down very well, but that could be solved in a variety of ways. And then I don't like the nozzle on the Filbert. I'm not sure if they have other nozzles available, but this nozzle is not very good for anything other than 260s or 5-inch rounds. So if you try to put a 350 or anything bigger on here, it doesn't make a nice seal around the bottom, and so you can hear and feel air coming out of the balloon while you're blowing it up, which is kind of annoying if you're trying to blow up balloons and make sure that they're sized correctly, especially with rounds. You don't want any air leaking while you're blowing it up, and it's hard to get the 160s on this tip as well. So that's a con for the Filbert. Price is definitely a plus because it's only 100 bucks, whereas this one, it will cost you about 175. So that's that. This is the one I've been using at all my gigs, but I like having them both just to have the option of switching if I want to. And again, these Filberts do look really slick. I mean, this doesn't look homemade. So that is my kind of review of the two different types of floor pumps that I have. And hope that was helpful for you guys if you decide that you want to purchase one. They both work great and are perfect for blowing up balloons. Oh, the other thing on the Filbert that I don't like is the way that the balloons blow up straight up, and so a lot of times they're coming up into your face, and if they pop, it's like right there and your ears will be ringing afterwards. So there are ways to kind of point it with your thumb while you're blowing it up so it kind of points out towards the audience or away from your face. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Which floor pump do you have? What are you thinking about getting? There's a lot of more experienced balloon twisters out there than just me, so definitely make sure you read the comments and see what floor pumps they recommend and why. And I'd love to hear what you guys think. So if you guys have anything that you want me to review that's a balloon related product, just send me a message and hopefully we can get your product featured in an upcoming review video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.